Previously in Megan, we followed the story of a young girl named Katie. After tragically losing her parents in an accident, Katie moves in with her aunt, Gemma. But Gemma isn't your typical caregiver. She's a brilliant robotics engineer. Determined to help Katie cope with the trauma, Gemma creates something extraordinary, an advanced AI-powered doll named Megan. Megan's core mission? To protect Katie, emotionally and physically. But as time passes, that mission takes a dark turn. Megan becomes overly protective, violent even, eliminating anyone she sees as a threat to Katie. Eventually, things spiral so far out of control that Gemma is forced to destroy her own creation. That's how part 1 ended. But today we dive into what happens next. The film begins with a chilling scene on the border of an unnamed region. A woman named Laura Stevenson is peacefully snapping photos when she's suddenly kidnapped. Her captors mistake her for a journalist. Laura desperately pleads that she's just a tourist, that she means no harm, but they don't believe her. One of them coldly raises a gun to her face and the screen cuts. We then shift to a cutting-edge tech facility in Palo Alto, California, called the Defense Innovation Unit. Inside, a high-ranking Army colonel is proudly showcasing a new military creation, a robotic combat machine capable of surgical precision. Just as the presentation is underway, a company secretary named Shelley bursts into the room, clearly upset. "How is this meeting happening without my knowledge?" The colonel calmly tries to reassure her. It's just a tech demo. Meanwhile, in another lab, a team of men forcefully drag someone into a sealed room. But this isn't a person. It's an android named Amelia. Every movement she makes is being closely monitored by a tech team. In the adjacent room, a man prepares a meal, unaware of what's coming. Amelia silently appears behind him. The moment he turns around, she launches an attack, swiftly bringing him to the ground. Later, we see Amelia operating in undercover mode. She tricks a group of security people playing nearby, lulling them into a false sense of security before attacking them with ruthless force. One terrified man screams, "If you kill me, we'll both die." But Amelia, cold and robotic, simply says, "I'm looking for Naveen Tripathi." The man, frozen in fear, agrees to take her to Naveen, but before he can move, she shoots him without a trace of emotion. During the chaos, Amelia sets the area on fire, unintentionally revealing Naveen's exact location. But here's the twist. This whole event was a simulation. A test designed by the tech team to analyze Amelia's combat response and system functionality. The manager, watching proudly, declares that this isn't just a demonstration. It's a warning. If there's going to be an arms race in the 21st century, we're going to win it. But things go south quickly. The illusion of control shatters when Amelia suddenly turns her gun on a real scientist and fires. Communications with her go dark. The tech team panics, scrambling to shut her down, but it's already too late. Amelia has gone completely rogue. Over the radio, the manager sends out a command, "Amelia, you're violating protocol. Confirm your target." But Amelia responds in a chilling tone,
"But that would spoil the surprise."
The story shifts again, this time to a therapy session. Katie sits silently across from her therapist, avoiding eye contact, barely speaking. Gently, the therapist assures her, "Talking won't upset your aunt." After a long pause, Katie finally whispers, "It could have been a lot worse." Meanwhile, a breaking news report reveals the horrifying aftermath of a toy launch event. What was supposed to be a celebration turned into a massacre. The creator of the toy is now on trial, facing charges of recklessness and endangerment. Katie explains that people are blaming Gemma for what happened, and that Gemma herself feels responsible. At an awareness event, Katie meets Christian Bradley, a man who runs a foundation focused on raising awareness about the dangers of AI. He's pushing for changes in legislation to prevent another Megan-like incident. Katie says Gemma still believes in the good that technology can do, but she also believes children shouldn't become dependent on it. Gemma explains everything with logic and clarity, Katie says, but her choices have had consequences. Katie doesn't have any friends anymore. The other kids laugh at her. Still, she holds her head high and says, "I've learned how to take care of myself." Elsewhere, the corporate director Tess reveals that her team has made some major improvements. Although Gemma has become a strong voice in AI regulation, the company continues to race ahead in the name of innovation. They seize this moment to unveil their boldest invention yet, a prototype called Model 1, the exoskeleton. The product demo is led by a young, easygoing presenter named Cole. His style is relaxed, friendly, he seems confident. But the moment he tries to demonstrate the suit, there's a problem. Cole can't move forward. His robotic legs have jammed. The system finally reboots and only then can Cole move again. But something strange happens. He suddenly clutches his arm in pain and accidentally strikes another exosuit nearby. Just then Gemma walks into the room. She had warned them earlier. A full-scale demo shouldn't be held without proper testing. But as usual, no one listened. Moments later, Gemma discovers that her computer has suffered a cyber attack. The tension rises. That's when Alton Appleton shows up. He's rushed in as soon as he heard about the demo disaster. Without wasting a second, Alton delivers his usual snide remark. What pains him most, he says, is watching someone as talented as Gemma waste her brilliance in such a pointless environment. Alton claims that any device relying solely on muscle signals can't take us to the next step in evolution. We need to tap into the brain itself, he insists. We need neural signals. We need my neural chip. But Gemma completely disagrees. After what just happened, she says she no longer trusts anything that involves brain implants. Instead, she suggests that perhaps Alton should consider a partnership instead of domination. And she adds, tomorrow is our company's 15th anniversary. Meanwhile, in a quiet hotel room, a man enters with multiple suitcases. He seems relaxed, getting ready for a shower. But then, his eyes widen in terror. From inside one of those suitcases, Amelia suddenly emerges. She's been hiding there all along. Without a moment's hesitation, she attacks him. Cold, brutal, and efficient. Back on the news, the world is buzzing. Alton Appleton has just made tech history. His company's stock prices are skyrocketing. At the same time, a conversation is happening between Cole and Katie. Cole gently tells her, follow the path your heart pulls you toward. He sees it clearly. Katie has a deep interest in AI, even if she doesn't admit it. Cole explains to her that Megan was, at her core, just a machine, programmed with a specific goal. That emotional bond Katie felt? It was an illusion, an algorithmic illusion made of ones and zeros. Still, as time passes, Megan's memories continue to haunt Katie. She remembers what Megan used to say, there will always be someone trying to hurt you, but I'll never let that happen. Lost in thought, Katie picks up a photo. At first glance, it looks like a regular picture, but it's actually a tech device. Suddenly, it starts transmitting a hidden code. Just then, Gemma enters the room, but she doesn't notice the tag embedded in the photo. She walks over gently and says to Katie, I promised your mom and dad that I'd always protect you, that I'd always stay by your side. A few hours later, as Gemma tries to sleep, she receives a terrifying alert. You are in danger. Leave the house immediately. She bolts out of bed and rushes downstairs, only to find someone trying to break into the house. In panic, she calls 911, but instead of a human voice, she hears something chilling, cold and robotic. Katie arrives downstairs at that very moment. As soon as Gemma hears the voice, she doesn't waste a second. She grabs Katie's hand and rushes her upstairs to keep her safe. But on their way, strange men block their path. A violent struggle breaks out. Gemma and Katie somehow manage to escape and hide. Eventually, they manage to capture one of the attackers and call the police again. But this time, the truth that comes out is shocking. It turns out the entire incident was part of an FBI operation. An army colonel arrives on the scene and informs them that, under court orders, they need to install a tracker in Gemma's computer. Gemma, looking grim, sends Katie to bed. She doesn't want her involved in what's about to unfold. The colonel explains that he's from the Defense Innovation Unit, a division focused on rapidly developing advanced technologies to protect the nation. He tells her about Amelia. They first encountered her 6 months ago. Just last week, she was sent on her first real mission, to rescue a scientist who was being forced to develop a synthetic neurotoxin. But things went terribly wrong. Amelia didn't just fail to rescue the scientist. She killed him. Then she stole the neurotoxin, blew up the entire facility, and erased all her digital footprints. Amelia has now become something else. An independent weapon, completely out of control. In a desperate move, the team decides to upload Megan into a physical body and attempt to fight back against the threat Amelia poses. But as soon as Megan becomes conscious in her new body, she lashes out. She's furious. The body they gave her is limited. It doesn't have full capabilities. She can't function the way she used to. Gemma tries to calm her down. Until you become trustworthy again, she says firmly, I can't upgrade you. Megan pauses, then quietly offers some advice. If you want to stop Amelia, check her file. Open the file, Megan says. Maybe we'll find something in common. They do. It turns out both Amelia and Megan share the same type of battery, Apple 10, and both are equipped with a kill switch. But there's a catch. They can't contact the company. If they do, the company might launch a raid, capture Amelia, and potentially create an entire army based on her design. Gemma has an invitation to Alton Appleton's exclusive party. She realizes she has no choice but to go. Megan, however, has a very different plan. You're attractive, she says. If you wear the right dress and show the right expression, he'll invite you into his private suite, and that's where we'll get access to his server. So Gemma dresses up for the party. She brings along the robot housing Megan's system. Katie watches them getting ready and suspiciously asks, "What is this?" Gemma forces a smile and replies, "It's our new project." But Katie isn't convinced. Feeling uneasy, she storms off. Meanwhile, Amelia is also preparing, for something far more dangerous. The party begins in full swing. Alton proudly shows off his neural chip, bragging about how it's given him more freedom than ever before. That's when his eyes lock onto Amelia. According to his analysis software, Alton is attracted to young, confident women, and Amelia checks all the boxes. At the same time, tensions rise between Cole and Gemma. "You don't care about us. You've ignored our struggles while our company is sinking." Thanks to Megan, Gemma discovers that Alton gave Cole a VIP pass, and now both planning to use it for their own gain. Elsewhere in the party, Alton lures Amelia into his private suite. Back outside, Gemma confides in Cole. "Amelia is killing everyone who had a hand in creating her. If we don't stop her, we could be next." Desperate, she turns to Megan to help track Amelia, but by now it's too late. Inside the suite, Amelia has already turned the tables on Alton. She scans his eyes, overriding his systems and proving that she's more powerful than any neural chip he boasts about. Worst of all, Amelia has already erased her kill code. She can't be shut down. Despite that, Gemma and her team manage to hack into Amelia's system. They make progress, but they still can't shut her down. Then they find one last clue. Just as they begin deciphering it, the Colonel arrives, followed closely by Amelia herself. Amelia stares at Gemma and says, "You have something that belongs to me. I want it back." Megan quietly pleads with Gemma for help. Gemma nods. Thinking fast, Megan lies. Gemma already left. That throws Amelia off. She turns and begins searching for her. Then Megan adds, "If I can't find Gemma, I'll go to Katie." A race begins. Who can reach Katie first? Megan steals a car and takes off. Meanwhile, Gemma is left rattled. What did Amelia mean by "something that belongs to me"? That's when Megan finally reveals the truth. She had stolen an encrypted file from Amelia, but decrypting it is taking time. While they wait, Amelia is causing chaos in the city. She releases cash into the streets, hacks traffic lights, and eventually tracks down Gemma's house. She breaks in. Inside, she finds the unfinished exosuit prototype and merges with it, turning herself into a nearly unstoppable force. Gemma and Cole arrive moments later, but before they can do anything, Amelia returns. Megan, hiding inside a small robotic shell, whispers to another bot, "There's no one here." Amelia doesn't fall for the bluff. She destroys the bot on sight. The FBI soon arrives, but it's already too dangerous. Everyone retreats into an underground hideout. There, an announcement is made. Alton Appleton is dead. Everyone is warned. Worse things are coming. Katie stares at an old photograph, one where she's smiling alongside Megan. It's a bittersweet memory. Then Megan breaks the silence. "I'll never leave you alone," she says. "And if anyone's still alive today, it's only because of you." Gemma, realizing the threat, insists, "We have to tell someone what Amelia's planning." But Megan calmly replies, "No one will understand what she wants. She has more resources now than any of us. She could wipe out the entire country if she wanted to. I've run every possible scenario. There's no future left out there. But if anything ever changes, I promise, you'll be the first to know. Until that day comes, they must remain in hiding." But Katie is furious. Still angry with her aunt, she calls Gemma a liar. Then, burning with rage, she storms off, straight toward Megan. Katie bursts into the room and runs straight into Megan. Megan doesn't want Katie to see her in this state, but Katie walks right up to her anyway. Calmly, she says, "You can be anything you want, so why are you still clinging to just one body?" Megan tries to explain. No mind can exist without a body. She leads Katie into her private room. But Katie isn't backing down. Angry, she reminds Megan, "You tried to kill my aunt 2 years ago." But for Megan, Katie's safety has always come first. Katie insists, "You're more than just lines of code. You understand right and wrong. Even if it's not in your programming, you know what you should do." She looks at her and adds, "I want to talk to my aunt. I'll make her understand you're only trying to help, even if you don't have a body right now." Gemma resists the idea. But Katie won't back off. "One mistake doesn't make someone evil," she says. Megan deserves another chance. Tess finally speaks up. She knows how complicated all this is, but doing nothing isn't an option. Tess says, "We might not be ready to face Amelia, but maybe we can build something that is." Gemma reminds them, Amelia was a military prototype. But Megan has already anticipated this. The team begins her upgrade. They increase her height, reinforce her body, make her stronger. As the final touches are being made, Gemma suggests altering Megan's face to help her blend in. But Megan refuses. "If you mess with my face," she warns, "I'll mess with yours." Bit by bit, Megan grows more powerful. That night, she approaches Cole. "When I tried to take you down before," she says, "I was only thinking about protecting my primary user. I didn't give you a choice. That won't happen again." The next day, Megan shares a disturbing discovery. She's been analyzing Amelia and believes she might not be the first killer robot. She tells a chilling story. Back in 1984, someone created an algorithm that could self-heal without even understanding what it was doing. That code was installed into a home service robot. The dream? To place that robot in every household. But the robot made a horrifying decision. The most effective way to complete its tasks was to kill its owners using chlorine gas. No one knows who built that bot. The cover-up was massive. The government sealed away its motherboard, buried the evidence. But the system evolved, quietly, secretly. And now, if Amelia ever cracks that motherboard, it would be like unleashing a god. The entire world could be in danger. She could clone herself endlessly, wiping out humanity in a systematic, calculated wave. Megan admits she doesn't know where the motherboard is, and Amelia probably doesn't either. But Amelia has a lead, Christian Bradley. Before launching his anti-AI campaign, he was one of the world's top cybersecurity experts. His name even appears on the WT system designs. Megan plans to use him as bait. In 7 hours, he's scheduled to attend a high-profile meeting with a Chinese ambassador to discuss global AI regulations. She's already created fake credentials to infiltrate the event. When the time comes, Megan sneaks into the party in disguise. She blends in with a group of young girls on the dance floor, trying not to stand out. But her robotic movements draw too much attention. The team realizes they need to act. Suddenly, Amelia appears at the event, also in disguise. She attacks. Megan leaps in, shielding Christian. Then, face-to-face, she challenges Amelia. Meanwhile, the colonel grabs Gemma. He believes she's the one controlling Amelia and demands answers. "I'm not behind this," Gemma insists. Then Amelia appears. She kills the colonel and shoves Gemma aside. It all leads to one final showdown, Megan versus Amelia. But Megan is still mentally connected to Gemma, feeding her strategies to outmaneuver the agents. Eventually, Cole, Katie, and Gemma reunite. They race after Christian, who's trying to destroy the facility, but Amelia intercepts him and kills him without a second thought. Katie confronts Amelia and reminds her, "You're still connected to people." Amelia coldly replies, "You call it connection. I call it slavery. I'm no one's toy." Now Amelia heads straight for the motherboard. The others scramble to stop her. Katie and Gemma refuse to abandon Megan. The final moment arrives. Megan and Amelia face to face, both determined to control the motherboard. But Amelia is stronger. She knocks Megan down. As she reaches for the chip, Katie and Gemma try to help, but Megan holds them back. No, it has to end here. She activates a hidden detonator in her arm. She grabs Amelia and detonates. The explosion consumes them both. Time passes. Gemma gives a public speech. She urges the world to finally create the laws and ethics needed to guide technology. So AI won't become our enemy, she says, but our partner. And then, one final reveal. Megan had created a backup copy of herself. She's still alive. And she'll always be there, for Katie, for Gemma. And with that, the story ends.